Have you ever looked at old black and white family photos and noticed something fascinating? Your grandmother or maybe your great-grandmother had 5, 7 or even 10 children. She didn't know what a calorie was. She never touched a protein shake. She didn't have a gym membership. And she definitely wasn't tracking her steps on a smartwatch. Yet, in almost every photo, she looked naturally lean, vibrant, and metabolically healthy. Now, look at us today. We have low-carb diets, intermittent fasting, high-tech slimming machines at the clinic, calorie tracking apps, and an entire industry telling us how to lose weight. Yet, women today are struggling more than ever with stubborn belly fat, PCOS, insulin resistance, and sudden weight plateaus after 35. Why did our grandmothers have superior genetics, or did we somehow break our metabolism along the way? Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm a registered dietitian and midwife, and in my daily practice I help hundreds of women navigate the complex world of metabolic health and hormone balance. Today, we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into what I call the grandma paradox. We are going to spend the next hour looking at the actual hard clinical science behind why our ancestors stayed naturally thin without trying, and how modern lifestyle mismatches are hijacking your hormones. Grab your favorite cup of tea or coffee, get comfortable, because by the end of this video you will exactly understand how to unlock that ancestral metabolic flexibility using modern science. No crazy diets, no detox teas, just pure physiology. Let's get into it. The modern grazing epidemic vs ancestral fasting. Let's start with the first major hormonal shift. How often we eat. If you walk into my clinic today, one of the biggest patterns I see in women struggling with weight plateaus is continuous eating. We've been told for decades by fitness gurus that we need to eat 6 small meals a day to keep the metabolic fire burning. Well, let me tell you as a clinician, that advice has completely backfired. Yes, think about a typical day for women in the 1950s or earlier. She woke up, prepared a hearty whole food breakfast for the family, ate, and then went about her heavy chores. There was no pantry full of processed protein bars. There was no Uber Eats. There was no driving past 3 different coffee shops with 500 calorie liquid sugar lattes. They ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In between, their digestive system actually got a break. Biochemically, what does this mean? Every single time you put food in your mouth, even if it's just a healthy handful of almonds or a splash of oat milk in your third coffee, your pancreas releases a hormone called insulin. As we discussed in our last video, insulin is your body's primary storage hormone. When insulin is high, your body is in storage mode. It is physically impossible for your cells to release and burn stored body fat when insulin levels are chronically elevated. Yes, our grandmothers gave their bodies 4 to 6 hours of clean fasting between meals and a solid 12 to 14 hours of fasting overnight. This allowed their insulin levels to drop to baseline. When insulin drops, another beautiful hormone called glucagon wakes up. Glucagon is the fat-burning hormone. It tells your liver, hey, insulin is down. It's safe to start burning stored fat for fuel. Today, the modern woman is constantly grazing. breakfast at 8 a.m., snack at 10:30 a.m., lunch at 1 p.m., sweet treat at 4 p.m., dinner at 8 p.m., and a bedtime snack while watching Netflix at 10 p.m. Your insulin never hits baseline. You are trapped in a 24/7 fat storage loop. It's not that you lack willpower. It's that your biochemistry is being constantly interrupted. The truth about multiparity: grandma has 6 kids and stayed thin. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, something I look at every day through the lens of midwifery: pregnancy and childbirth. Women often tell us, ever since my second pregnancy, my metabolism has never been the same, and that is a very valid feeling. Because pregnancy causes profound permanent shifts in a woman's pelvic structure, thyroid function, and metabolic set points. So, how on earth did women in the past undergo 5, 6, or even 8 pregnancies and still maintain a healthy waistline? First, we have to look at the inter-pregnancy interval and nutritional recovery. Today, women are having fewer children, but our baseline metabolic health before pregnancy is often already compromised by chronic stress and insulin resistance. In the past, yes, multiple pregnancies took a massive physical toll on women, but their bodies adapted through sheer physical demand and lactation. Breastfeeding an infant burns roughly 500 to 700 calories a day. Our grandmothers were often breastfeeding consecutively for years. This is an incredibly energy-intensive process that naturally draws down gestational fat stores, particularly subcutaneous and visceral fat, provided the diet isn't flooded with refined sugars. Furthermore, because they weren't exposed to endocrine disrupting chemicals, which we will talk about later, their thyroid and adrenal glands recovered differently. When a modern woman undergoes a pregnancy while working a stressful 9 to 5 hour job, sleeping 5 hours a night, and eating inflammatory oils, her cortisol, stress hormone spikes. High cortisol combined with post-pregnancy insulin resistance is the perfect storm for storing visceral fat, the dangerous fat around your organs. Our grandmothers certainly had stress, but it wasn't the chronic, low-grade, sleep-deprived, physiological stress we experience today. Their hormonal recovery post-childbirth was supported by a completely different environment. Real food vs the chemistry lab in our pantries. Let's talk about food quality. What this is, where the mismatch, because it is obvious. If you look at what our ancestors ate, it wasn't a diet. They didn't go do keto, they didn't do paleo, they just recognizable food that they eat. If you gave your great-great-grandmother a modern ultra-processed food product, she wouldn't even recognize it as food. Today, our over 60% of calorie intake is Western diet, ultra-processed foods, UPFs. These are foods that have been industrially engineered in a laboratory to achieve what food scientists call the bliss point. The bliss point is the precise combination of refined sugar, industrial seed oils like canola, soybean, corn oil, and salt designed to bypass your brain's natural satiety signals. It overrides your leptin, the hormone that tells your brain, hey, you're full, stop eating. Our grandmothers ate food with an inherently low reward factor but high nutritional density. Their bread was sourdough, fermented naturally by days, and eat gluten-free, low glycemic index, and anti-inflammatory oils, omega-3 fatty acids. Their vegetables were grown in nutrient-dense solid. When you eat fiber and protein first, your blood sugar looks like a gentle rolling hill. When you eat modern processed foods like a morning muffin, a low-fat diet yogurt, packed with artificial sweeteners or white processed carbs, your blood sugar looks like a terrifying roller coaster. Every sharp spike is followed by an equally violent crash. And what happens when your blood sugar crashes? Your brain panics. It thinks you are starving and sends intense cravings for more sugar and quick carbs. You aren't weak, you are simply in a biologic change. Industrial seed oils like the hidden metabolic poison. This is a topic that doesn't get enough attention in mainstream nutrition, but it is vital for understanding female weight plateaus. Industrial seed oils, often called vegetable oils. Before the early 19th, human beings did not consume canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, or safflower oil. These oils literally did not exist in the human diet. Our grandmothers looked with real butter, ghee, tallow, lard, or extra virgin olive oil. Today, industrial seed oils are in everything. Walk into any supermarket, pick up a package of crackers, salad dressing, mayo, and or even healthy plant-based milks, and you will see soybean or canola oil as a primary ingredient. Why does this matter for your metabolism? These oils are exceptionally high in linoleic acid, omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acid. When consumed in massive unnatural quantities, linoleic acid accumulates in our cell membrane and our fat tissue, adipose tissue. Our grandmothers ate food with an inherently low reward factor but high nutritional density. Their bread was sourdough fermented naturally over days, which breaks down the gluten and lowers the glycemic index. Their meat was pasteurized, filled with anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids. Their vegetables were grown in nutrient-dense soil, packed with fiber. When you eat fiber and protein first, your blood sugar looks like a gentle rolling hill. When you eat modern processed foods like a morning muffin, low-fat diet yogurt packed with artificial sweeteners, or white processed carbs, your blood sugar looks like a terrifying roller coaster. Every sharp spike is followed by an equally violent crash. And what happens when your blood sugar crashes? Your brain panics. It thinks you are starving and sends intense cravings for your sugar and quick carbs. You aren't weak-willed. You are simply reacting to a biological emergency created by engineered food, industrial seed oils, the hidden metabolic poison. This is the topic that doesn't get enough attention in mainstream nutrition, but it is vital for understanding female weight plateaus. Industrial seed oils, often called vegetable oils. Before the early 19th, human beings did not consume canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, or safflower oil. These oils literally did not exist in the human diet. Our grandmothers cooked with real butter, ghee, tallow, lard, or extra virgin olive oil. Today, industrial seed oils are in everything. Walk into any supermarket, pick up a package of crackers, salad dressing, mayo, or even healthy plant-based milks, and you will see soybean or canola oil as a primary ingredient. Why does this matter for your metabolism? These oils are exceptionally high in linoleic acid and omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acid. When consumed in massive unnatural quantities, linoleic acid accumulates in our cell membranes and our fat tissue, adipose tissue. Biochemically, this highly unsustainable fat oxidizes inside our body and it makes inflammation. This inflammation directly damages the mitochondria, the powerhouse of your cells, where fat is actually burned for energy. And when your mitochondria are inflamed and damaged, your metabolic rate slows down. Your body loses its metabolic flexibility, the ability to easily switch from burning carbohydrates to burning fat. Our grandmothers had a pristine cell membrane built from stable, natural, saturated and monounsaturated fats. Their cells could be perfectly signaling hormones, and there was not supposed to eat any chemical things. NEAT, the art of invisible movement. Let's talk about exercise, or rather the lack of it, but not in the way you think. Many women today spend 45 minutes grinding on a treadmill or spinning in a dark room feeling exhausted, and then spend the remaining 23 hours of the day sitting at a desk, in a car or on a couch. We think that 25-minute working session balances the equation, but science says it doesn't. There is a concept in metabolic science called NEAT, which stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is the energy you burn doing everything that is not sports like exercise: walking, standing, cleaning, carrying groceries, cooking, fidgeting, and gardening. Our grandmothers had an extraordinary high NEAT. Their daily life was a continuous low-intensity workout. They washed clothes by hand or used primitive machines that required effort. They walked to the local butcher or market. They spent hours on their feet managing households or working in agriculture. They weren't burning calories in intense high cortisol bursts. They were burning a steady stream of fatty acids all day long through gentle movements. When you sit for hours at a time, your body turns off an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase, LPL. LPL is the enzyme responsible for taking fat out of your bloodstream and moving it into your muscles to be burned as fuel. Sitting shuts it down. As a simple clinician's trick that I always recommended, walk for 10 to 15 minutes immediately after your meals. This simple habit mimics ancestral NEAT. It forces your skeletal muscles to soak up glucose from your bloodstream without requiring a massive surge of insulin. It's a complete game changer for reducing visceral belly fat. Chronobiology, the circadian cycle. We cannot if we didn't have good sleep, we can't have any good metabolism. Every single cell in your body has a biological clock.